Welcome to the Rocket Roof Show, where we equip fellow roofers to do more commercial business every first and third Thursday of the month. It's time to launch your business to the next level.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Rocket Roof Show with your guest Andy Neer here. Once again, the show is about equipping and educating contractors for the commercial roofing market. And so I'm super happy to have my guest here, Hunter Ballew. Welcome to the show.
What's up, man? Appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Ballew?
Yeah, man, it's actually weird. You nailed it. Usually people butcher it, so that was cool.
Well, I think of the big fuzzy bear and the Jungle Book.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's how I tell people to remember it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, welcome to the show, and super stoked to have you on, because I know that I see your name all over the place as far as people referring to you, or things that you've built and accomplished. So I'm super excited about the show today. Let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your background, personal history, how you got into construction.
Yeah, man. So I'm from a small town in South Carolina. It's called Travelers Rest. It's north of Greenville, South Carolina, which is in the upstate. I'm only about 15 minutes from the North Carolina line. Came from that little high school. There's only a couple thousand people in the town. I'm still there. Born, raised, and now I'm raising my family. I'm married to a wife that I went to school with. We didn't really know each other in school. She was a year younger than me, and we met after high school. We got married. Have a little boy now, 2.5 years old. We're in the adoption process right now. Going to have our second little one. And so, yeah, just been in this small little town in South Carolina. As soon as I finished high school, I went off to the Marine Corps. I did the reserves for 6 years. And when I got back from training, decided to jump into the fire department. So I spent 5 years at the fire department. I just wanted to serve. That was something I was passionate about, is serving people. And that felt like a way to do it. And so I really had like this entrepreneurial spirit about me since I was super young, and I wanted to have my own business. And while I was at the fire department, I was always hustling. I don't know if you know much about the fire service, but most departments, it's like you work 24 hours and then you have 48 hours off. So I had 2 days that I could hustle. I could run a business. I had a moving company. Then I had an antique shop. Then I started learning marketing. And so finally, after 5 years at the fire department, I launched out to do my own thing. It was at the end of 2015, December 22nd of 2015. And so basically 2016, I got started and started my marketing company. Really didn't know anything about it. Was just figuring it out. And I ended up working with some roofers, and I liked the space. It looked like a good space. I was used to being around blue collar people, being from South Carolina. And so I decided to start my own company, really just as a case study. People always ask me like, oh, how'd you start Cornerstone? How much experience did you have? Yada, yada, yada. And I jokingly say all the time, like, I really didn't know anything about roofing. And I still don't know much about roofing, which is funny for the roofing.com guy and the guy that has RoofCon. But it's just about building a team around you that has the experience in each sector that you need experience. And so started Cornerstone. We grew it to over 8 figures. We had an exit. We sold it to a publicly traded company. And along the way, started RoofCon at the event for roofers, and just continued to evolve from there, brother.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I resonate with that a little bit because I'm from Shelby, Michigan, about 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Like 90 people in my graduating class. I married my high school sweetheart.
Nice.
But we have 4 kids that have left the house and have gotten married. So I'm on the other side of the spectrum from you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's very cool. So I got a little sheet here. I'm asking a question. I'll make sure I ask the right questions. And I think you already asked, why did you move out of the roofing and why did you move out of roofing and into contractor support specifically? Did you see a need there? Did you see huge money to be made, or did you just see like?
No, so coming from the space of being in the military, being in the Marine Corps, and then being in the fire service, I was so used to just having people around me, feeling like I was, part of a brotherhood. And so as we grew Cornerstone, I did feel that, we had a team, but I wanted that in a bigger way, and to kind of create something in the industry that I didn't feel like had been created yet. There was plenty of conferences, great conferences, shows, expos, all that stuff, but most of them were geared around how do we make more money? How do we go out and treat it as a vacation and party? And we wanted to bring something a little bit different that was focused more on building us as a person, building us as a leader, so that when you go home, you're the best father or wife that you can be, best husband that you can be. And so those things were important to us, is to tie the personal development to the professional development. Like when you come to RoofCon, when you're part of our community, when you come on our free retreats that we do, we've literally had, man, I couldn't even tell you how many people through them now. Like you're going to see that we focus on self-worth before net worth, because it comes first. It's more valuable. And so that was our play, is, hey, we're going to help you make more money and see an ROI on coming to our event, but we're also going to focus on building you into a better leader first. So our play, man, is finding high integrity people in the roofing industry who are focused on becoming legacy focused leaders. They're not focused on, what decision happens today changes tomorrow. They're focused on 100 years from now. How is it going to affect their kids? How's it going to affect people around the world that they'll never even meet?
I was just listening to Jim Rohn yesterday. I've heard this many times, but he says your income will almost never exceed your personal development. Your income will not increase unless your personal development increases. And so even if it does, you get a lucky strike and your income does jump, it usually comes back to where you are personally. So so I want to dive in a little bit to right there, because you're talking about self-development. You're talking about stretching yourself, but I want to ask you about your personal journey, because obviously at some point in time you're like, okay, I feel like I have more to offer, but you also have to feel like I have this ability, like, because I'm trying to put together a conference right now too, and part of me is like, man, do I have the ability to do this? Am I the guy to do this? Maybe there's somebody else that's more. But at some point in time, you got to be like, there isn't another guy that can do this. I'm the guy, and I have this ability. If I lack these other abilities, I've got to hire other people with those abilities. Like, where did you recognize that you had that ability to take on and develop RoofCon?
Yeah, man. So I love that subject, and it's something we talk about a lot on our retreats, because we do an exercise called the Fireside Transformation, where we get all of these, leaders in their space, in their company, the men that everyone looks to, because we have RoofCon that's open to everyone, Roof Cruise that's open to everyone. And then we have a smaller, more intimate group called Revolt that's men only, because, we feel that it's important that we bring men only to an event so they can open up, they can be vulnerable. We just actually did our first women's retreat, and then we're actually going to have another one coming up, because it was really good, and they liked it a lot. But I had to lead that. And I think that it's important for women to lead the women's retreat, because they're able to open up and be more vulnerable. But something we see a lot in the men's retreats with Revolt is exactly what you're saying. It's a question of, am I worthy to be doing this? And, the phrase for that is imposter syndrome. Like, oh man, I shouldn't be that guy. There's someone better than me that should be doing that. And at the end of the day, we have to know that we all have something unique about us. We all have something unique to share. We all have unique experiences and perspectives. And when we don't step up to the plate and share those things with other people, we're doing a disservice to them. So we have to remove the thought of, hey, this is about me, and think about the people that you're serving. Because when you get rid of me and you start focusing on the people that you're going to serve and the people you're going to change their lives, and then ultimately the butterfly effect takes place, then you don't just change their lives, you change their families' lives, their teams' lives, the communities, and the people around the world that they're going to impact. So it really has to shift from, man, I'm worried that I'm not the guy, to how can I give them the most valuable? And maybe it's not the Hunter show or the Andy show. It's who can I bring to the table and bring more value to the community, because I'm willing to collaborate with others.
Yep. Okay, great. So let me throw a monkey wrench in there, because I know everybody hears the word scale everywhere they turn. Scale. But can a person have an effect, or can a person leave a legacy or do what you're talking about without scaling and having 35 people on their company?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Right. Like, you look at some of the most influential people in the world, whoever you want to say it is, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Obama, like, no matter if you like any of those people, you don't like those people, they were influential to certain people. And the person that influenced them, you probably don't know them, right? Yeah. So again, it's the butterfly effect. Who are you going to impact across the world? You'll never see their face. You'll never know their name. You'll never meet them in person. They'll never get to thank you. but you affected them, you changed their life, and now they're going to change the lives of thousands or millions or billions. For me, my life mission statement, like everyone talks about having a mission statement for their company, well, something we challenge you to do is have a life mission statement. For me, it's really simple. I want to help develop millions of leaders who go on to change the lives of billions. I can't change billions of lives by myself, but through leadership and development of the leaders, we can change billions of lives.
Okay, so there's another question I want to dive into. Is a leader there to create followers, or is a leader there to create more leaders?
To create more leaders, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think a lot of people they think, oh, I want to be a leader. I want to gain more followers.
Right. No. So this is how this works. If you listen to John Maxwell at all, and he'll be at RoofCon this year as a keynote speaker, one of his favorite little one-liners that he says all the time, and I'll probably ask him about it on stage at RoofCon, is the importance of multiplication over addition. Okay. And I'm going to break it down because we're talking to roofers that are watching the show, right? And I use this example to my sales guys, to my sales managers, to my team when I had a company. You can go out there and you can sell 5 roofs every single month. You can sell 10 roofs, you can sell 20 roofs, whatever the number is for you. Let's just say 10 for easy math. You go out and you sell 10 roofs a month consistently all year long. You make $1,000 a roof. You can make $120,000 a year, whatever that number is. That's great. What if you can bring in 10 more people and teach them how to do what you do? What does that do for your company? What does that do for you as a sales leader, as a sales manager? It's multiplication. It's the power of multiplication. You can do 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 and get to your 10 roofs a month, or you can multiply what you know, your wisdom, your experience into more sales reps, and then they can do that. So leadership is the power of multiplication.
Exactly. And it is not just in roofing, right? It's in real estate. It's in all kinds of construction. It's in banking, everything. So.
Did you know Andy Neer has been using Top Roof Marketing for the commercial roofing division of his business for more than 3 years? If you're not happy with the results you're getting or haven't looked into all the ways out there to grow your commercial business, take a look at toproofmarketing.com. They can show you solid data to back up the proven strategies they use to get their clients more commercial business year after year.
So moving to the next thing, what do you think is the biggest issue facing roofers today?
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah, I think that a lot of roofers are going to get left behind when solar really starts to take off, in the next decade. It's already happening. It's not like I'm looking into the future predicting it. I'm not some genius. It's already happening. But there's a lot of guys that don't want to accept it. And they think, well, I'm just going to stay narrow and just focus on roofing. And look, if you're at the end of your career, you got a couple of years left, yeah, you're probably fine. But if you're starting up and you're trying to scale and grow this thing over the next 10, 20, 30 years, you better accept it. You better integrate it. You better get used to it. And we've got a panel at RoofCon called the Solar Integration Panel that we're going to have open with a lot of guys that are crushing it in solar and teaching how to integrate it into your business, because it's coming. I mean, it usually, unfortunately, it starts in California and it moves east. And in California, they've already mandated that you can't build new construction without solar. So you should expect it. It's coming.
So I'll play into your hand. I'm one of those guys that's like, I'm in Michigan. I think we're like in the top 3 most cloudiest states in the nation. And so, people are like, well, you can use solar, even though it's partly cloudy because of the UV and all this and stuff. But it's like, we have these excuses like it's not that sunny here, and people just aren't that green minded here, and all these other excuses. So, I just don't, but I'm all about willing to be educated. If it can help the client more, or if something's going to be mandated down the line, I don't want to be left behind. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I've been on the fence where it's like, man, I really should learn about this. And then I think, well, I only got so many hours in the day, so I'll put my energy over here. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'll definitely be checking out that panel and looking into that more. How about in commercial roofing specifically? What kind of the big issues you see roofers dealing with today?
Yeah, so commercial, it's funny, man. I met with a couple guys last night here in Austin. I flew out here to meet with Jake Bryden here at Heritage Construction and the guys that own RoofLink, kind of going through RoofLink, the CRM, checking it out. It does some pretty cool things, some unique things compared to some other CRMs out there that I've used. And so I was checking it out and meeting with some guys at a Brazilian steakhouse last night. in Austin, and we got on the commercial topic, and we started talking about coatings. Coatings is something that has been around for decades, and it's really just now starting to gain steam, right?
Yep.
Even a decade ago, and you know a lot more than me, but I would say even a decade ago, I've only been in the game like 5 years now. I can see that trajectory, that upward trajectory of people are really starting to buy into it and believe in it and see the value in at least offering that to commercial building owners versus your more standard traditional system.
Yep.
So I think it's something to consider. Again, it doesn't mean it's right for everybody. It doesn't mean that solar is right for everybody, but look into it. Don't be naive and say like, well, I'm just going to completely shut it out. It's worth looking into, having the conversation and seeing if maybe it's not you that figures it out, but if you can bring someone onto your team that can figure it out or already has the knowledge, that's powerful. And it helps you to position yourself in the market as an expert.
Yeah, sure. So 10 or 11 years, 12 years ago, I had never done coatings before. And I was working with one of my previous employees starting a company, and he wanted to get into roof coatings. And so I was helping him start his business. And I'm like, I've never done roof coatings before. I didn't know anything about it. In fact, I didn't have any preconceived notions about it, negative or positive or anything. I'm just like, oh, we're painting the roof, And so it was from there that I realized that, there's a system and there's, some substance to this. And then now years later, I mean, I'm one of the guys that really in the space, I'm really promoting coatings. But last year we've been on a big project here locally where, they only got a couple bids, and the other guy he didn't offer coatings. So they went with us because we were the only option, and they loved the idea. And so, building owners, I think, are starting to do more and more of their research, and not saying that, they're always choosing coating, but they have more options in front of them. And if you don't offer the option they're looking at, you might be losing out.
Right.
Sure. Especially this year with some of the shortages going on.
Insulation. Yeah.
Yeah. Building owners are like, what's an alternative? What can we look at? There's some massive projects that have been getting switched over to coating. So, so which do you think is a bigger issue right now for commercial roofing? Business growth or personal life balance?
Yeah, man. I tend to always say it starts with the personal side. I can understand the perspective of someone that would lean towards, well, I just got to fix these systems in my business, and I just need better marketing, and I need better sales processes, and I got to close better. And those may be real issues. And for sure they are issues, and it doesn't mean that they're mutually exclusive. Like, you can still work on those things. But a lot of times it starts with us, right? Like, especially if we're the leader, it starts with us getting our stuff right. Knowing that when we're at home, to be intentional where we're at with our family. That's something we talk about a lot. Is, look, I have the luxury of going a lot, traveling a lot. I mean, I'm on the road all the time. The majority of the time I'm gone. But when I'm home, I try to be very intentional with my time. And then secondly, and maybe even more importantly, is my wife understands why I do what I do. I'm not out here just chasing a dollar. I'm trying to make an impact. And so when you have that belief about yourself and your goals and why you do what you do, and then your spouse believes in that too, if it truly is impact over income, then you win.
Yeah. So when I started my business in 98, and I remember for years, somewhere along the line, I read a statistic that 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I don't think a day went by and I didn't think about that. And I was like, well, I just need to make it to the 5-year mark, right? If I make it to the 5-year mark, I'm in the clear. But
I think it's higher than that now.
That's kind of a negative mindset, right? Because I'm just like focused on this little 5-year thing. And it's like, it should be a much longer legacy than that. Well, what happened a few years later is my wife and I, we fell on hard times with our relationship and our marriage. And it came right to the edge of the cliff. And I had to decide, is it going to be my business or my marriage? And I decided to fold everything up, sell everything. We moved to Texas from Michigan, and just started with a clean slate so we could work on our marriage. That was probably the best thing we could ever do. I didn't stay there. We ended up moving back and starting everything over again. But I started with the idea, with my wife's blessing. And I know a lot of guys are like, what the heck do I need my wife's blessing for? But I really did need her blessing because I was working 65, 75 hours a week.
Yeah.
Just digging a hole deeper and deeper. And she wanted my time. She wanted my affection. She wanted me when I was at home. And I wasn't doing that. So when we started the second time, we actually had to come to an agreement, and I had to, work it out with her, say, hey, honey, I'm going to do things different. I'm going to do things so that I can, make as much money or more money in less amount of time, so that I don't have to, money doesn't make people happy, but it sure makes it a little bit easier when you have the money in the business to take care of what you need. So, so yeah, I've been there and done that. So I want to talk a little bit about the conference you have coming up, because I know it's really what's on your mind right now with this. It's a big event here in what you do right now. So, being a conference guy, putting it together, what value is there in attending a convention or a seminar or something like that? And I'm not speaking to like the owner of the company. I'm talking about people that are in the company that might not play ownership role. But what's the importance of going to a seminar or conference for them?
Yeah. So it doesn't take much digging, much research on RoofCon to see that we really are different. Like, we don't just say that. Like, you can look up the quality of the speakers, John Maxwell, Craig Rochelle, Ed Milet, Iron Cowboy. They're not talking about scaling your business and making millions of dollars. They're talking about becoming a better person and making an impact on the people around you. And so for us, that is everything, man. And even to the point where you take out like the headline keynote speakers like that, you look at Danny Kerr, Dale Childress, myself, we're talking about legacy. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about, business process, and not just money. You're going to get that too. You can ask all the questions you want at the panels. You can go to all the breakouts where they're going to teach you how to make more money. You can have conversations with the other, how many ever thousands of people that will be there. You can go to the 100+ booths and talk to them about money. That stuff's all great, but it starts with us. And as a business owner, we're the ones traveling. We're the ones bearing all the weight as a leader. But to have an opportunity to go to a conference like RoofCon, where you can take your team and they're going to be poured into just as much as you. And your team is then going to look at that as an investment into them, right? Like, we try to tell owners that. We have owners all the time say, well, man, why don't y'all wait till January or February and do it with the rest of the conferences? The reason you can't is the reason you must. We hear people say, well, I can't afford to do it. Well, that's why you should figure out how to come, because we're going to help you make more money. Well, I don't have time to come. Well, that's why you should come, because we're going to help you build business processes. We're going to teach you how to hire the right people so you have more time to do things that matter the most. And so the same thing applies with your team. You bring them there, you're investing into them and their success and their well-being and their leadership qualities and skills. They're going to feel that. They're going to feel appreciated, and they're more loyal to you, and they're there for the long run.
Because that bleeds over into your other personal life, right? Like, man, I really want to go on an elk hunt, but I don't have time.
Right.
Oh, I really want to go, to the Himalayas, but I don't have time. Like, So it really boils down to priorities and I was just saying this on my live this morning about, I'm not a slave to my business. My business should be a slave to me, so that it can create the lifestyle that I want.
Right.
So
I love that. That's good, brother.
So let me really get a little bit personal here. So I got my son-in-law. He's working with me. He's been working. He came on board in January with me. He wants to eventually buy into the company. So he's on the first year of his 5-year process of buying into the company.
Yeah.
How would this roof process? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are in the roofing industry right now that are bringing in a partner. Maybe it's a foreman, maybe it's a son or son-in-law or a brother. But how would this RoofCon talk to maybe somebody that's grooming another guy that's younger than him to come in as a partner or a future owner?
Yeah. So for one, obviously leadership. I won't even go down that road again because we talked about it a lot, but developing as a leader is number one. Two, we have a lot of companies coming on the panels speaking that have partners. And so they can speak to that, whether it's through you asking the questions on stage, tracking them down off stage and having the conversation, going to lunch with them, coming to the VIP party, going to the Platinum Lounge, whatever it is, but the ability to just network. Look, the training's great. I always say this, the training is going to be great. We've got great speakers, all that stuff, but it will never be more valuable than the relationships you can build out in that expo hall. Right. And that's one of the big reasons this year we changed the model and we said, hey, you know what? We're going to give away free expo tickets because we don't want to limit the smaller companies and the companies that can't afford it from coming. We want them to be able to come. We want them to be able to network with the people that are paying. They just won't get to go into the keynote and the breakouts and things like that. So companies can come for free and network and go to the expo and all that good stuff. And lastly, we've got a panel where we'll have someone on there actually talking about exiting a company, value in a company, how you raise the multiple, and things like that.
That's interesting talking about that, because I think a lot of people won't even think about an exit plan or an exit strategy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've had a ton of people reach out since I sold Cornerstone earlier this year. And it's just not something on the radar for most people. They start the business and they just expect to do it for the rest of their lives. And, unfortunately, like, you're going to have an exit plan, whether it's you die or you go out of business or you sell it. You have an exit eventually, but are you going to choose how that exit ends up?
Yeah. So for me, a lot of times when I've gone to conferences or seminars, you're not like you're going to be there and you fill in 25 pages of, I mean, maybe you do 25 pages of a note, but I never do. Come back and read them all. It seems like the most value I get out of there is like some kind of inspiration or aha moment. And I remember being at a training earlier this year, and we were listening to a big time contractor that was a spray foam and coatings commercial guy. And we were listening to him. We got a lot of value out of him, but right somewhere in the middle, he mentioned how his father-in-law started the business. And since he was the son-in-law, he took that helm on and ended up building the business. And that was kind of like on the way home. I didn't even realize it, but on the way home, my son-in-law's like, yeah, did you catch that? Like, that was like inspirational for him.
Right.
Almost like it can be done.
Yeah.
Like, he did it, I can do it. And
right.
So does that happen at conferences a lot? Like, you see somebody and you're like, shoot, if he can do it, like, I can do it.
I think that most of life, especially for people that are hungry, that do want more, it is the realization of what's possible, which is ultimately, you could just say hope, like realizing that that is possible, and then knowing that you're capable of it too, and then ultimately taking action on it. Yeah. And so it is just literally having that one moment, building that one relationship, having that one accountability partner from a conference to easily make your money back. I mean, it's stupid cheap to go anyways to any of these conferences. You just need one little thing to make it worth it, continue building your brand. And for us, man, it isn't like I just started this conference out of nowhere and had no clue how to run a conference, man. I've spent over 7 figures at this point on conferences, masterminds, coaches and consultants, buying courses, so much money, and going to these things and said, all right, what can we take from this that's been good and been meaningful to people and implement it into RoofCon? What can we take that's been bad from this and make sure that we don't do it? Because we've said from the very beginning, we're not going to sacrifice quality for quantity. Like, I don't just want a bunch of people there and it not be impactful. That's not what it's about. And in fact, like the first one, we only had 2019. It wasn't even 2 years ago. It was the end of 2019, like November. I threw the event together in like 60 days. There was about 60 people there. And I was all depressed because I was like, man, there's only 60 people here. I wanted at least 100. And when we left, everybody was talking about it. And they talked about how impactful it was because it was small. And although I want it to be impactful and small and intentional and build the relationships, we can do that through our other events. So like we have roof crews where we limit it to only a couple hundred people. We have our retreats where we limit it to 30 people. And so RoofCon is that one time a year, the annual conference, you get to come together and everyone be together and push each other to that next level. And so I've tried to take things that I've learned along the way and implement them to make sure people get actionable steps. That is the key, actionable steps, not just oh man, that's a good idea. We want something they can take home and implement immediately to make more money and improve their quality of life.
That's funny you say that, because that's what I always mention with my guests on the show is give us 1 or 2 tips that they can implement tomorrow. So it's very cool you say that. So here comes your action item. If your 25-year-old self, you, was going to be attending RoofCon, what would you want him to learn there?
Yeah. Man, 25 is not that long ago for me. I just turned 30. And I've been depressed about it, man. 30 hit me hard. I usually don't care about birthdays and stuff, but 30 was rough. And I got a kid, and man, it's crazy.
So how old were you when you started your roof company?
4 years ago. May was 4 years. So 26, 27.
Okay. So your 26-year-old self, you're starting a roof company. You don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
What would you want him to learn at the conference?
Yep.
Like, pay attention, boy. This is important right here.
Yep. So when I started, I was coming from the marketing world, digital marketing. So all I cared about was marketing. And I did not care anything about door to door. And I learned when I started getting serious. I didn't get serious about Cornerstone until the end of 2018, and really in January of 2019 is when we started turning it up. And I was like, all right, let's really grow this thing this year. And so we did. And I started getting serious about hiring people, and I got serious about training them and equipping them to be successful, because I didn't feel right about hiring people and not giving them the tools and training and technology to be successful. So that was always my promise to my team, is I'm going to give you the tools. I've literally said this thousands of times. I'm going to give you the tools, the training, and the technology to make six figures, but you have to bring the work ethic. That's the only thing I can't provide. I'll give you everything else. If you show up and work, I don't care if you suck as a sales guy. If you do what we tell you to do, you talk to enough people, you use the tools that we're going to give you, go through the training, and you use the technology, you will make six figures. But you have to put in the work. And so when we continue to build out the system, we called it Six Figure Blueprint, a training system we put together for our guys. That took us to the next level, because it was so easy to sell the vision to anyone coming through the door, because they believed in it. They could see that we're vested in their success.
But
So
you had to have people come in the door that applied, and you were like, you know what, you're just not the right fit for. I mean, you didn't take everybody that had a pulse, right? Yeah.
So I'll kind of speak to that too. Building out a hiring funnel is extremely important. Building out a hiring funnel. So, if you want an actionable step, I can go ahead and give it. You can go to cchiring.org, CC as in the letters for Cornerstone Construction, hiring.org, and that's our hiring funnel. When you get there, you'll see some testimonials from our team. You can click on outside sales, the sales position.
We'll have our producer put all this information down in the comment section for the viewers.
Cool. And so if they go through that funnel, once they click on salesperson, you'll see like a 12 or 13-minute video of me. At first, I'm talking about all the bad stuff to disqualify people because I don't want to waste their time or mine. And then at the end, I'm selling them on the vision and how they can make a lot of money with us. The next video is talking about the Cornerstone culture and why they'd be proud to be a part of it and sell our product, because we give back to the community. And then we walk them through an actual application process before I ever even talk to them in person. What's their personality type? They got to fill out a test and put that in there, because I know what the best personalities are and what the worst personalities are. So I don't want to waste their time or mine.
Or even if they don't take a test, they're not motivated enough.
They're not. Yeah. They have to fill out every single thing exactly like we say, or we will not contact them back. And so we know before they ever walk in the door if they're a fit or not. And that makes it a whole lot easier, and it saves us time.
Oh, awesome. I see so many guys that are stuck in that rut. They're just right at the beginning. They're just like, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to show up on time. And I'm like, man, your process is broken from the beginning. You don't have a process. Right. I mean, everybody has a process. It's just a broken process or a bad process. So wrapping it up here. Well, I heard little birdie say you might have a discount for viewers that might want to attend RoofCon. Yeah, for sure. You tell me what you want it to be. What's a fun promo code for fans of the Rocket Roof Show? Well, you want me to just make it Rocket? Rocket. We'll make it Rocket. We'll do all caps Rocket. Okay. And we'll give you guys 10% off for using that code for RoofCon tickets. If you just go to roofcon.com, literally just roofcon.com or roofing.com, you could get to RoofCon from there. When you go to get tickets, you'll just use the promo code all capital Rocket, and you'll get 10% off your tickets. And how did you manage to get roofing.com? That must have been a lot of money or a waiting game. Both. Took me a couple of years and a lot of money. Yeah, a lot. And I've already gotten some offers for like a good bit more than I bought it for. So it's pretty cool. But we like the domain, and we want to continue to help the space, and we figured it'd help us accomplish the goals. So it's been worth it. And just in case anyone is wondering, without going to the website, the dates on that are September 30th through October 2nd. And that's in Orlando, Florida at the Rosen at Orange County Convention Center. It's attached to
the Rosen Plaza with the hotel, so you can get a hotel there. And there's actually a group rate on the website at roofcon.com as well for hotels.
Awesome. I think I was at that same place for a convention last winter,
Nice.
and it's a nice center. It's
Awesome.
not huge, but it's nice. It's a nice place. So man, those dates are right in the middle of the beginning of my hunting season, man. Like
I
deer
know.
season is
About it.
October 1st.
Yeah.
So but yeah, that's awesome. And any last minute plugs for why somebody should make an effort to go here? I mean, I know everybody's busy. Like I would even have the excuse, like October is my busiest time. Snow's going to start flying. My schedule's jam packed.
Yep. Well, for any of the watchers, I mean, I'd say because Andy's going to be there is when he should be there. No, but really, it really is about networking, taking the time and being intentional. Look, if you're just going to come out and you're not going to show up, you're not going to pay attention, you're not going to shake hands, don't come. We don't want your money. Like we're not doing this for money. I know that's easy to say and it sounds cool, and that's not why I'm saying it. Like legitimately, if you guys follow me at all, you've seen the exit I had selling to the public company. Like we've done pretty well. We've been blessed. We're thankful for that. Super grateful. Been a fun ride. We don't have to do this anymore. We're doing it because we want to make an impact on the industry. And so if you're not going to come and actually take the action steps needed to shake hands and go to the training and then take that stuff back home, and then again, takes the action steps needed to implement it, don't come. We don't want you to waste a seat. We don't want you to waste your time or money. Only do it if you're going to come and be intentional. Come up and shake my hand, come up and shake Andy's hand and get to know us so we can help you take your level, your business and your life to the next level.
And I would add to that's not the reason why we're bringing you on the show, just to give you a plug. I really bring people like you on the show to say, roofing is still one of those very, I'm sorry to say it this way, but primitive industries where people are just locked in their old way of thinking. It's so hard to get roofers to think, to improve their way of thinking. Right. And so education and self-development, I think, is so key and so important. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show, because, I think if you want to better yourself in the industry as an individual, I just think there's a huge opportunity as each individual to set themselves apart from the rest of the industry, because, I think it would be a noble cause to change the whole industry, but I don't think it's going to happen. So right. That just makes it even more potential for each individual to say, hey, if I set myself apart in my own market, in my own space, I can really improve, my company, my employees, my community, and this and that. So that's why I wanted to bring you on. But I look forward to it. And thanks for being on the show today. I really, really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, and we really had to make this happen. But thank you for being on, and hope you have a great weekend.
I appreciate you, man. I really do. I can't wait to see you at RoofCon, and hopefully I see some of your guys too.
You've been listening to the Rocket Roof Show podcast. Be sure to subscribe through your favorite podcasting platforms such as iTunes or Google Play to get the latest episodes as they are launched. For more, please follow us on social media or visit our website at rocketroofshow.com. We look forward to joining you here again soon at the next launch.